Yo, 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 back with another podcast. We have a new name. And drum roll. So the new name that we came up with was Linked Up. Linked Up.
Yo.
We're linked up with Josh right now, the boy.
We're super excited for our special guest, Josh Wagner. He also goes by Wags on Twitter. And Josh Wagner is head of Virtue Animations. He founded it with some dope people, legends. And then he also is a serial entrepreneur.
Yo, your work ethic is, I gotta give it to you.
Off the charts.
Insane, like absolutely insane. You inspire me. What's going on, Josh?
We're vibing. We're out here, LA, getting ready for Basel.
Our Basel is in
Let's go.
a couple weeks now. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Are you excited, Geummy?
I am so excited. Throwing some wellness events over there.
We're about to blow things away.
There's some cool things going
Yeah.
on. Medved's got a cool thing with NFT now. Gummy's Wellness. Trippy's got a thing. So, yeah, it's going to be good. People need, I think, a week just to go have some fun, vibe out, relax.
Yeah, especially during this crazy market right now. So tell us what's happening.
Well, the world's ending.
The world is feels like it's ending.
No, I actually was mid-thread before I came here. And I'm going to post it later today. But, like, I think that anytime there's like emerging technology, right? Like, I don't think anything new happens. The technology just changes. People are the same, cycles are the same, technology just evolves. Okay. So I think that right now we're seeing a cycle that was all programmed. There's nothing surprising about what's happening. And like look back at history, like let's take a specific example. 2000, the internet's emerging, the late 90s, anybody with a deck and a vision and could go raise hundreds of millions of dollars. They could go get like supernova IPOs and be $1 billion company. Wow. And none of them were profitable. There weren't enough users of the internet yet, and everything was still clunky, dial-up internet. Like, man, everything crashes. Amazon's floor price goes to zero. Right? And the whole industry and global economy gets wrecked. At that time, there was a famous article. You guys should flash this in on the post. It says, like, the internet was a fad. And it says, millions that went to the internet, it's a fad, and it's never going to happen, basically. This thing was like New York Times. And then the internet happens as it does. It changes the world 20 years later. So the same thing's happening now. Everything's crashing. Everyone's like, oh, crypto's a scam, and a lot of people will leave, and then we'll look back in 10 years and we'll be like, wow, that was like one of those rare once in a lifetime moments to build with what you knew was going to be the future, but it's really hard to do it. And I think like it's also like being an entrepreneur. I've started a lot. I started my first business when I was 7.
When you were 7 years old? What was it? Selling toy trucks?
I think I was selling t-shirts, and then at a point I was selling Pokemon cards. Then I my first real business, I went to the grocery store and I got a bunch of water bottles and I put Kool-Aid in them and I flipped the labels inside out and I wrote Super Juice on it. And
no way.
I was selling it
actually sold?
Yeah, I was selling on the playground for $1 each. And I was
my God, that's crazy.
Josh was working those playgrounds.
Yeah, you were.
I was going to the like local minor league baseball stadium and like selling them in the parking lot. And
he knew his target audience.
What? How'd you wait? Okay, hold on. Let's take it back real quick because that's dope that you started at 7 years old. So like, where did that mentality come from? Is your parents from the entrepreneur world? Like, where did that come from?
No, not at all. So I was born like in a pretty rough area, trailer park land, southern Missouri.
Really?
And like a lot of people were, I guess, where I'm from, just kind of have like regular 9 to 5, they pay bills, taxes, and they die. So from when I was like, can't remember, I was like, I'm not gonna stay in Missouri and I'm not gonna live like this lifestyle. So I wanted to make it, right? And I wanted to like not only make it because I wanted to take care of the family, but then I saw as I grew, right? Like there was so many kids that like were ambitious and had big dreams, but they weren't able to go make those steps for whatever reason. They were kind of trapped in their circumstance. So that's like the thing that's always like been this like fire that's fueled me is like.
So what's the day that you realized like, bruh, I need to get out of here? The day I realized that I needed to get out of my area was when I read this book, and I was like, damn, this is opening my third eye. And so therefore, like, I always felt like I was different growing up because I always had a drive to follow my passion, and I was really hard-headed. I got in trouble in school a lot because I didn't like to listen to people.
Yeah.
If anyone like try to shift me from my vision, like, I don't care who you were. It just was like I would get you out of the way. And you could be a teacher, you could be my mom, you could be my dad, you could be my sister. I don't care, because I had a tunnel vision on like what I wanted to do.
Right.
So for you, like, did you think like that?
Totally. I mean, I always was like, have wanted to build an empire since I was 10, right?
Wow.
And I was like, I've always just, maybe it's innate, or I don't know where it comes from, right? But like me, I'm so grateful for being raised in those circumstances because it has this like burning fire. You know, and I think like The Rock says, like, there's a difference between being hungry and being starving.
Yep.
And
Did you hear? You know The Rock's $7 story?
Yeah, a great story, underdog story.
Yeah.
But you were saying,
at least he sells it like that, right? But I'm starving every day, right? And like for me, I think a big difference is like I'm not starving and hungry to go make billions of dollars. I hopefully will, and that'd be great. But for me, that's not what motivates me. Motivates me is to, one, take care of family after I do that, then go out and help the millions of kids out there who also have talents and dreams, but like just need a little help. And what I always say is like, everyone needs their Dr. Dre. Like Marshall Mathers never would have became Eminem if Dr. Dre didn't find that tape, fly him out to LA. So like, I love helping people and entrepreneurs like find their path because, you know. So
your purpose in life is to impact people.
100%.
That's my purpose as well.
I think Josh really cares about the value of family, and where does that come from?
I don't know. I mean, I think like, I guess I had a decent family. We didn't have much, right? But like we supported each other. And then what I really enjoyed, like, in Web3, for example, is like bringing together like a family of people like that have the same values.
That's the cool thing about Web3.
Right, this collaborative nature of like people with the same vision, values, dreams, and then like let's come together as a team, as a family, and build this together. In the bear market, everything gets harder. Money gets scarce. The vibes aren't as good anymore. It's not wag me and everyone's making money. So like, I think the key is coming together as a collective community, as a family, supporting each other, helping each other with like the knowledge, experience, resources, connect, like anything we can all do to help each other win. We link arms, and together as a team, like we make it through the next 2 to 3 years. And the future unicorns are going to be born in these ashes that we're at today.
Wow, that's amazing. Especially, Josh, you've shown by example of how well you are so good at identifying people's strengths. And you're very great at connecting people, bringing resources where most people would have like overlooked. You find those diamonds where other people see it as like just a stone. And you've shown through Virtue Animations and your recent project Basement Gang that you brought in all these amazing people, really created this family community, and created also this huge Twitter space. You just created this from the ashes, from nothing.
We wanted to find out how you started Virtue Animation and Basement Gang.
Let's see. COVID had started, and I had a buddy at the time who had an idea for a TV show and reached out to me, and you know, he was like, hey, can you help me? And because I help a lot of different entrepreneurs, I was like, I don't know anything about making shows, but I've been involved in like different music videos and different, you know, I know the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sure, let's give it a shot. And that didn't make it very far, but through that, I got connected and linked with Bob Bacon. And Bob Bacon was EVP at Disney. So like he did Lion King, Aladdin, like all the Disney 90s movies, right? Like we grew up on. He left Disney and he went to run Paramount. So he was president at Paramount. He did a movie with Elton John in between, and then kind of retired. And then Kobe Bryant called him and said, "Hey,
Kobe
Bob."
Bryant.
Yeah, the Kobe.
Like that just tells you the level of this person's
wow.
at. Like if Kobe Bryant just calls you up, like you're somebody.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant doesn't just call people.
He's a legend, 30-year career, and he's like such a good, humble, amazing guy. You guys have gotten to meet Bob, I think. So Kobe said, "Hey, I want to build a next generation animation studio," and Bob was like, "I'm in." Like he's a huge Lakers fan, so they started building Granity. Before Bob joined up, they did Dear Basketball, which won an Emmy. And then as they were getting ready to go out in like a whole slate of films, I've gotten to see some of Kobe's ideas, like pretty amazing. And obviously tragedy strikes.
Yeah.
Sad day. I remember that day. I think it was like February 14th or something. But yeah, I remember that right before COVID.
Yeah.
That was a bad year. And but during that year is when I met Bob. We started kicking around like different ideas, and I was like, yeah, I would love to do, like, I'm a huge cartoon fan. I would love to do some animation. Seems like it'd be super fun. And Top Shot was popping off at this time.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Both of us are big NBA fans. This is October of 2020, and I was like, hey, let's get into this. So we both DJ'd in Top Shot, which is fun. Like, me and Bob has played Top Shot every day since October 2020.
No way.
Oh, yeah, he's a Top Shot, like, fanatic. Just because he loves like collecting and the whole experience.
Yeah.
So over that time, I had a blockchain company in 2017, and
what was the company called?
It was called Block Energy. It was basically
Block Energy.
International blockchain logistics. So we were leveraging smart contracts, NFTs, to like increase the tracking, transparency, traceability for like logistics overseas, specifically oil. Nerdy.
And this converts into how you work with it.
This is how I got into blockchain.
Okay.
And then like when the 2018 crash happened, I lost on the investment side probably 7 figures and lost that company like over 60 days. But I got like an incredible experience to like really learn about blockchain and how it was going to change every industry as we know it.
Yeah.
And during that same time, like my buddy as a company called Rad wrote a whole white paper on peer-to-peer media distribution. I was going to change music media entertainment. So as me and Bob were, getting into it in October, I said, hey, like, I think this is a whole new model for film, for music, for entertainment, and a whole new way to, do the financing, the distribution, build community. So we started 100%. The studio officially like December of 2020. And our whole goal was, we had the vision to pave a new path for film.
Well, where did the name Virtual Animation come from?
Good question. I think as we looked for different names, the goal was let's go make virtuous content that told lessons and stories that were inspiring and entertaining at the same time. Like Disney and Pixar have done it. Like there's these underlying themes. So we really wanted to like create fun, cool stories, but that also had like a virtuous component to it. And I think the only way to really change the world is through content, because that's where you get global reach and scale. Like that's where you can move like culture and start.
Yeah, and especially when markets go down, entertainment actually goes up.
Sure.
So great timing and great foresight.
Yeah, it's where we need inspiration. We need like powerful emotional movements. So we started the studio in December 2020, and our first project we did, one of my good buddies, Jeremiah, is Doc Rivers' son. His sister married Seth Curry, so like Rivers and Curry's. Wow. And we were just kicking around the idea of like, hey, they should do a player project. And because Top Shot is making billions, the players are not making anything. And that doesn't seem right. They're selling their highlights. So our first project we did was with Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, a bunch of NBA guys.
Really?
We did
cool.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's fun. We did like some story.
So were you talking back and forth with them like all the time? Were you hands on with them?
Primarily like with Jeremiah, Austin, his brother that's in the league too, and then like some of the team. But yeah, we got to make like a really cool trailer, some avatars. We made different like superhero basketball guys, JaVale McGee, Josh Hart, and then it was a fun, cool project. And then they ended up going like a DAO route, and that DAO I think will come public like in the next 60 days or so.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. And a DAO, for those who don't know, is a decentralized autonomous organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's a bunch of NBA players in it, and then different like community members. So kind of like a cool way to get access to players and like be involved as like a team.
Wow. How do we sign up?
Yeah, that's like dope.
So through that, we learned a ton about NFTs, how we could implement like storytelling through these things. And then we did our second project that summer. Same thing, worlds. We actually wrote scripts, 15,000 3D avatars. And then that company ended up taking it and doing a partnership with Binance for a play to earn game. So two projects
Wow.
like really dig in on like how to do it, what to do. At the same time, like I'm very analytical and also like am always in the mix, whether it's at like events or on Twitter.
Yeah.
So like really was just like studying, learning, listening, asking questions, because I'm ultra curious. Like I'm a lifelong learner. So I'm like, okay, what are the things that are working? What are the problems that exist? And like, how can we, when we do our own project, like really do things differently to elevate and raise the bar? And so that led us into Basement Gang, which we just launched. And
So virtual animations is the primary, and you have secondary basement game under virtual animation.
yeah, so think of
It's a project under virtual animation.
yeah, so think of virtual like Pixar,
Yeah.
and then Basement Gang's like Toy Story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so,
sick.
So like Pixar had like Toy Story, then Monsters Inc., then Bugs Life.
Yeah.
So we'll have future IP, and we've actually developed a slate of IP that will release shows, movies, different things.
Yeah, I think that's pretty sick. Cause you're basically taking a Web 2 version to making it Web 3 with filmmaking.
Yeah, and the idea is
And you guys are making cartoons. Right?
cartoons, animation. I think what we're gonna do.
But you
next,
have what's that series that you guys are doing?
Basement Gang.
Yeah, that's a whole like cartoon, right?
It's like
It's like animation.
Animation.
But it's
Animation,
more than
definitely.
animation because you implemented music. You brought in that music component, which I think is so fascinating. And could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So what we try to do is build like a new model, not just for Web3, but for film, right? So how could we fuse storytelling with music with gamification, right? So the story is the center of it all, and there's the animated series, there's different episodes. We have like part 1 out now you can check out, and then we'll have more episodes coming up. It's season 1.
How much does an episode cost?
15 to 20K per episode. People don't know, and this is for lo-fi, right?
Yeah.
To
To make, right?
Yeah.
Animation is extremely expensive. It's why there's only like 5 or 6 studios that do it. If you do CGI Pixar level, it's $1 million a minute.
$1 million bucks a minute.
So when you
That's
see
huge.
like Monsters Inc., for example,
Yeah.
like that, if that's 120 minutes, like 120 mil cost, then you have to do marketing. So a lot of times, like SpongeBob, for example, that Bob did at Paramount.
Bob did SpongeBob?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of
I
Water.
mean, duh, the name.
That's crazy.
So I want to say, don't quote me on it, but I want to say like their budget cost in was like around 250, 260 million
Wow.
Per episode? For the movie?
for the movie. And then they like box office like 300 million, which was a win. But like you can see like movies in animation are really expensive, and you're hoping that you
get the return.
You get the return, but also the movie almost is like your commercial, your ad.
Wow,
and
I
then
didn't
a
know
lot
any
of
this.
Yeah, a lot of the money then is made on like t-shirts, hats, merch, toys, experiences. So anyways, it's IP building. So with Basement Gang, the story's at the center. It's a fun story. It's like the underdog journey story. So you have your 4 rug pull NFTs, and they're basically like losers in the basement, smoking weed, hanging out.
Like
Yeah.
Pudgy Penguin.
Yeah, we have a Pudgy Penguin. We have Yanni the Yeti. Yetis was a big kind
What
of
are you?
What's
character?
what's mine?
Yeah, what character?
I'm one of the buds.
You're one of the. What's Gummy?
You're the
I'm
gummy
Gummy.
bear.
The Gummy Bear.
So we have
She's
the gummy bear. We got Kevin, famous Kevin Pixelmon, and he's kind of like our Kenny. So Yeah, I wrote it.
You wrote this entire story.
Yeah. So
Wow.
me, Bob, and then we also just hired and we're working with a guy that was writer for The Simpsons. Yeah.
It's huge.
Big
yeah.
D.
What?
On Gene Parmesan on Twitter.
You're working with the writer of Simpsons.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the writers, yeah.
And what's really great is like Josh actually opened up, like he was like, hey, Geummy, come into the writer's room and just, look at what we wrote. And I was so honored to be part of just like, just saying like I could be like, hey, like Josh, what do you think of adding this? And Josh should be like, yeah, like totally. And that's what creativity should be, is having, multiple voices be able to be involved. Like for someone like me, I'm a, woman of color that doesn't like have a film background, and to be able to have a voice in such an important play and a story, it was so incredible.
That's been my favorite part of this project, right? Is I think we ended up having 32 contributors on it, right?
On the
That's
story.
huge.
On the project. So
Yeah.
artists, animators, musicians, community builders, like just a collective of like what I think it's one of the best teams ever assembled for like an NFT project. And
How long?
100%.
How long did the team take to come together?
I mean, truly like 2 years, right? Because
2
2
years?
years of me like building a network, friendships, like getting people like, like working together on things. So, the project started probably 9 to 10 months ago, but like truly like to build all those relationships, a couple years. But what I think was cool is like we got some of the most smart, talented, cool, and also diverse individuals together, all from different worlds. Like it's crazy to have like Mouse, who's a savant dev, working with Bob Bacon, who's a legend in animation.
I think that's like the best part about Web3.
It's crazy.
Is that like me being an influencer, before I even got into Web3, I was only friends with influencers.
Sure.
I wasn't friends with people that did other crafts and like skill sets in other industries. And ever since I got into Web3, my friends are so diverse now. It's like crazy.
I love it so much because I learned so much, and like again, getting to work with like Geummy, then getting to work with like Wax Motif was on the music soundtrack.
Let's go.
Getting to work with Tim, like all these
Keyboard
like,
Monkey.
great keyboard, like it's this collective of individuals, all like from different worlds, working together to achieve one goal of doing something like innovative, fun, and delivering for like and building a community. Like that's what's been, I think, super special about it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier we're in another time frame of transitioning into technology and a new culture of where the world is gonna go. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think you're doing right now that for the future is going to be innovative and really make an impact?
Sure. I think that this is one of the biggest shifts we've seen since the internet. And I think the future is creator-led, right? Web 2 gave people an opportunity to use social as a marketing tool, right? But ultimately, they still owned your data. They still made most of the money. And you could maybe get brand deals here and there. But ultimately, like Web 2, the big VCs, big tech owned it. Web 3 now is giving us a tool where I think creators actually become the leaders. They find they can monetize their own ways. Communities get to participate in that, and collaborate on it and share in the upside. So like for us, what we're doing in film and storytelling is like building a community and projects with people. So you actually get to help us write the story. You actually get to be a part of this like gamified experience.
I was just about to say. I've been doing a lot of research on gamification.
Yeah.
Because that's like where games are going, the gaming industry is going to boom like insanely crazy when it gets globalized. Like it's going to take over the world. Gamification is how you could incorporate gamification just principles into every single thing you do, and literally. I was reading that. I sent you it. I was reading that. It was like 32 pages, and I'm like,
and I'm like,
what?
did Chris really read that? I mean, this must be good.
No, it was really good because it shows you how you get people's attention, have them be loyal supporters for a very long time, not just contributors, loyal, down to earth, supporters that will be with you through the whole, from the beginning to end.
This is something I've studied since 2017, really, and like really, I was getting so deep in the weeds. Sweatcoin was in 2018, if you've heard of that. Like,
Yeah, I have that on my phone.
It's like move to
AppCoin,
earn.
yeah.
But I was fascinated by this concept, and then like so studying it, I've experimented with it in different businesses, especially like maybe that's one of the biggest things we're doing that's unique within film is like we're gamifying it.
Exactly.
And you're earning for participating. So think of it like this. Again, it's a framework that applies to any business model.
Exactly.
A podcast, a beverage brand, whatever, is, okay, just by participating and engaging within our brand, so come to our event, listen to our podcast, buy our merch, just through that participation.
You receive rewards.
Or sharing our podcast on Twitter, you earn some sort of, let's just say, points or rewards, right? And then those points or rewards can be redeemed back within your brand.
And again, that's not in
ecosystem.
Web 2.
Right.
Okay.
So think about if people now are spending more time, more money, and they're helping you build this ecosystem, then they're going to be more loyal.
Exactly.
They're going to earn and feel like they are a part of the team, and they're actually getting incentivized to do it. And then the whole ecosystem grows, and it's this crazy network effect that's happening, and no one's cracked the code yet. We're experimenters, but this is going to unlock everything. Gaming specifically is going to grow 1,500%, but media, entertainment is literally infinite growth opportunities by applying a gamification model.
Exactly, I agree with that. I've been doing that. I've been doing gamification on my fans for a long time, actually, and I didn't know it until I went to go study gamification, because I've been a live streamer for so long. And in 2020, I remember like me live streaming during COVID every single day, and I created a whole gaming like experience for my fans. And I was always wondered why like everyone wanted to watch my live streams more than everyone else. And they kept like coming in every single day, and it was because I created it was called Mango Show or some crap. It was called Mango Show, and I had a spinny wheel, and if they send gifts, then I spin the wheel. I would give them like an Apple Watch, a gift card, or like a follow, whatever. But they get to spin a wheel, and because they supported me, so I give them something in return. Or I put their name on like the wall or a hoodie, whatever. And I was like, it clicked. It fully clicked when I learned gamification.
Right.
Because then I was like, okay, how do I even become more aware? Now I'm aware of it. So how do you take that and now build on top of it and onto some things that I don't know?
Yeah. How do we become part of Basement Gang, by the way?
I mean, you can mint right now. The mint's going on, and we've done, I think, like 265K in the heart of the bear market. So I'm pretty proud of that, right? Like we built a really cool, innovative project. We did the mint and in the heat of the bear market, and I think we're in the top 10 or 20 of projects that have launched last couple of months. So
I mean, you guys broke records. Like, first of all, dropping a collection during the bear market, that's a huge win alone. And then two, you guys like broke some records. I remember you posting like a chart.
What did you break?
I was like, what does this chart even mean? But it's like,
I think we were trending on OpenSea.
Trending on OpenSea.
Oh, you were trending on OpenSea?
During the bear market.
Wow.
we were on Mentify. I mean, we had a good outcome. I mean, there was one like small DApp issue, so that led to people not being able to mint. So things like that happen.
Yeah, I mean, can you kind of like share that moment? Because, the mint opened up early in the morning and things were just flying.
Yeah.
And it was, you were like, oh, you thought,
Was it stressful?
The last like 2 weeks leading up to mint were insane.
Really?
Right? Because like we're not just doing a PFP where it's just art and you throw it out there. Like we had, like I said, we have the episodes, the music, the gamification, and for us, like we weren't going to launch a project and then go spend 3 months building our roadmap. We already have built 90
I think
days
I think that's what people need to do. Like, stop promising everyone we're gonna build this game, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like, no one cares anymore.
Yeah, no one cares about the white paper anymore.
Like, no one
These
cares.
are just like false promises.
This is not 2020 anymore.
Yeah, and you can't get away with that.
Exactly.
I keep saying, like, quit talking and just start executing.
Yeah, and I know
everybody in this space talks so much bullshit. Just go out and execute and prove it. So if I'm proud of anything, it's like 60 days ago, we said, here's what we're gonna go do before the mint, and we did episodes, music, 3 events, free merch, all this shit before the mint. Exactly. And now we've got 90 more days where we'll keep growing and improving. So for me, like, I don't care about the floor price. I don't care about where we're at with mints. We're gonna keep building, proving our model. And
exactly.
I loved what Elon said yesterday on Twitter. He said, we're gonna do all kind of shit the next 90 days, and what works, we're gonna keep it, and what doesn't, we're gonna lose it. We're experimenters, if you can experiment, innovate, evolve, iterate, improve, then you're gonna keep building. You're gonna build something special. That's the one piece of advice I try to give everyone is don't be worried about failing. If you fail 99 times and hit 1 out of the 100, then that one can be huge. But don't be afraid to take risks, especially right now when we're in this transformative shift where nobody knows anything.
I love how you're focusing on the transformation and really the technology, where everyone's eyes, like most of the world is looking at, wow, crypto sucks, like it's tanking. Whereas you're like, wait a minute, you have this foresight. This happened before in history.
It literally happened.
This is an opportunity. And I love when people hear you on Twitter Spaces, your energy, it's like people just believe it. And we need more people like you, Josh, because you are really, living that example of doing action instead of just all talk. And it's so easy to get, all this funding and have this beautiful, NFT collection. But at the end of the day, it's not about just the NFT collection. It's not about that. It's not about another PFP. It's about the technology and the community and the changes that you're building with the people that's coming along.
Sure. I mean, I think on the community side, and we built this amazing team, and then this OG community is awesome. But what I'm really focused on is really this collaborative effort of an entire team. When I say team, the community is a part of our team, and it's 4,000 people, and people are rabid, engaged, and excited to go out and help us build. That's magical. It's hard to get that. Once you do, it's cool. And then like you said, things like this have happened. We use Amazon and the internet as an example, but also Pixar. I use the Pixar story all the time. 1986, these nerds were playing with computers, a little shop. They even got $10 million in funding, but even Disney, and Bob's there, these guys are kind of ignoring them. Then they're like, oh, that's cute. Pixar was doing some they were doing they were helping them with some tech things, RenderMan, and then 10 years later, they launched Toy Story. It changes everything. Pixar sells for $12 billion. They changed the entire industry forever, but it took them 10 years. Web3 motherfuckers are not gonna be able to wait 10 years. Yeah. Right. So
Okay. Let's get into this shit. Let's get into this shit because I know you got a lot.
Patience is a virtue.
I know you got a lot of shit to say about everybody in the space because all right, I'm gonna say this. Gary Vee says 99% of NFT collections are gonna fail. What's your thoughts?
I think 99.9%.
99.9. You're saying 99.9% of NFTs.
By this time next year, I think that we'll see less than 50 projects that are around today make it.
Okay, so next year. Okay.
And the reason I say that, right, is number one, community as a whole is too worried about number go up. They're too worried about prices.
Yep.
Instead, find a community that you really vibe with, that you believe in the identity, the vision, and ride or die. Be a part of the brand, the experience. And then if you bet on somebody with a good vision, a great team, and a true long-term mindset, maybe you'll do good as well. But too many people got spoiled with making crazy money in the bull market. So then at the same point, a lot of projects never had an intention to build a business. or understand like how to generate revenue outside of NFTs. Selling NFTs is not a business model, right? Unless maybe you're an artist. But if you're a company, a studio, a game, like selling NFTs is not going to make you $1 billion company. So
what's going to make you $1 billion company?
You have to build a brand and an ecosystem. So a brand has multiple dimensions. It has content, it has experiences, it has products, t-shirts, toys, whatever, right? It's the Disney model of how they build IP. You have to have a variety of revenue streams and ways to grow.
They say that it's not about, like, a good brand is something that you can just feel. Like when you have this brand, when you have this logo, like the Disney logo, it's like the feeling that you get. That's a really good brand.
Sure. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of hard work. And I think if there's anything I've learned as an entrepreneur and all the different things I've done and people I've been able to learn from, I've been able to work and partner with some of the smartest, most successful people in the world. And the common theme is being an entrepreneur is really hard. And
it is.
Kind of like feels like you're in the boxing ring and you're going to keep getting hit in the face and knocked down. And if you can keep getting up and stay in the fight, then you might have an opportunity. But I think really hard in these moments like we're in now, when everybody's screaming and fighting and the world's ending. Like, it's hard to keep getting punched in the face and keep getting up and keep working at it. But if you look at all these companies we're talking about, Pixar, Amazon, Spotify, there's a great documentary on Netflix, like almost went bankrupt 4 or 5 times.
Spotify?
Yeah, a lot of these companies, right? Like had their journeys super like one of my buddies sold his company for $3 billion. They had three times they were bankrupt 3 times on that journey. So like
I
know what you're saying. Like in life, you're gonna get like as an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 4 years now. Yeah. So ever since I made that transition, when I first transitioned, because I remember that I was working at like Dunkin' Donuts and I was working at McDonald's and stuff, and I remember like that day I was like, I kept going to work, and this is when I was doing social media as well, and I just kept going to work, and I was like, I could be doing so much more with my time. Yeah. Why am I wasting it making these coffees? I'm so confused right now. And I would go on live and I would have like this community that would be like support whatever I want to envision. Right. And I was like, what am I doing? And it would make me miserable. Like I would show up and I'd be like so miserable.
It's always a hard jump.
It is.
And then usually your first couple of years, like you're going to eat shit. You're going to fail a lot.
Oh my God.
And it's going to be hard. And it doesn't really get easier, right? But it's the most rewarding thing in the world to be able to go do what you love to do with people that you love. And like that's been my bio and my motto for a decade is do cool shit with cool people, have fun, and make an impact along the way. And if you do those things, it usually works out for you in all aspects, and you're happy, right? And that's what life should be about.
Exactly.
Be happy. Quit worrying about the money, the cloud, the blah, blah, blah. Like, just do cool shit with cool people and have fun. And it's going to be a good ride.
Yeah.
Josh, how do you balance your mental health or like your mind-body health?
Yeah, because you work like...
Because you look great. Like, look at Josh as an entrepreneur, like, who's like,
you look good.
You know, usually like lacking sleep, lacking like food. And you look great. Like, you look like you're just, you know, already at $1 billion.
I have a question, actually. I actually have a question. So... Everyone,
we need to hear this.
Okay.
This is important.
I know this goes on with that question. Go ahead. Because everyone, as like, you know, we're all entrepreneurs and everyone sees us working our asses off. Yeah. And everyone thinks we have like, it's all good. Sometimes it's always good. Totally. And everyone, like, we could look great, look fine, feel healthy, but then inside we're like drained, hella drained. And so like, I've had those moments where like people are like, saying so positive things about me, and I'm like inside I'm like I'm like so drained right now.
And as much as we love Web3 for all the good things, like there are a ton of things that make it really hard, right? Like it is you're effectively a public company, and like in the spirit of transparency, people know everything about you, what you're doing every day, and like that's great, but it also makes things really, really challenging, right? Because like as you're building a startup, I use analogies on everything. This is my analogy for building in a bear. You're right now you're flying a plane in a war zone. There's a hurricane going on, and you're telling the passengers in the back like, it's all good, guys. We're gonna be great. It's just a little turbulence, and then like things are like flying through the windows, and you're trying to drive the plane. So like, it's challenging, right? Because there's the public perception of like, hey, like, yeah, everything's great. We're doing great. Because like, I'm a guy that wants to inspire and bring positive vibes, but at the same time, there's all the challenges of a startup, right? So how do you balance that? On the mental health side, I got super deep into studying like mindfulness, meditation, philosophy, psychology. Like I spent like, I don't know, 2 years just deep into like books and experimenting on myself and just trying a lot of different things. So I kind of developed like a routine that's kept me, I feel like, pretty balanced.
The question I have is, you've come a long way.
Sure.
You've come a long way. You've worked your freaking ass off. You've sacrificed a lot, and everything. Would you say you sacrificed everything?
Yeah, I mean, time, money, resources, relationships, but I have the underdog journey story. The Basement Gang is the underdog journey story, actually, in the series. So it's fun, and like, I'm trying to also remember just to be like grateful for every moment, every opportunity, every challenge.
Yeah.
Because they, like, part of the fulfillment, or maybe all the fulfillment's in the journey, right? And oftentimes, like, you can get to the top of the mountain, you can win a gold medal, whatever, and then you're like, wait, like, is this it? So I'm also enjoying, like, remember to enjoy every moment, even when the world seems like it's burning down. Like, and this is what I say, is like, the way we're gonna make it through the bear market is together as a team, as a family, supporting each other, and always remembering that, like, this is the beginning of this whole new era, and the greatest transformation maybe in human history will happen over the next decade. 100%. So you want to be one of the leaders and builders of that movement, and not one of the people that sits on the sidelines and waits till it all happens.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're just going to watch, like, the next market just go up.
I'm just so confused on why people are just, like, they just
so
watch.
Passive.
It's literally in front of your faces right now.
And it's because people are scared of that war. People are scared to ride that plane, lead people, and, they are comfortable. And that's the thing. If you're comfortable, that is such a dangerous place to be, because you are not incentivized to change. But when you are comfortable and you challenge yourself to not be comfortable every single day, do something that you're afraid of, do something that it doesn't make you feel comfortable, then you're always going to be evolving and seeing the world in a different way.
And one thing I also love on that, like, about Web3 is, maybe you don't want to be an entrepreneur. That's okay. Maybe you're not comfortable, like, going out and doing things you've never done. But the cool thing is, in Web3, just by participating, just by hopping on Twitter, in spaces and Discords, like, you can learn a ton. And actually, just by being involved, you can probably make money and earn.
And that's a big thing.
So get on Basement Gang, guys.
Yes. Dude, you've come a long way. It's been a long journey, and I'm proud of you. You are gonna go far. I know that for a fact.
I mean, he's already gone far.
No, like, you're gonna go fucking far. You're gonna be the next Disney in Web3.
We as a group, as a family, as a community. Like, I'm all about, like,
WAGME.
I hate WAGME, but I want it. Like, I really believe, like, there's something special that's happening with this movement. And I think if we stick together, we collaborate, we support each other, like, some really cool things are going to happen. And it will be crazy in 5 years to look back at, like, the people here today that are building.
Like, look at this podcast. We're
like,
going to look back at this podcast in 5 years, and everyone's going to be like, holy shit, I should have listened.
Yeah, no doubt. And, like,
For real, I'm being serious.
The things that are getting built right now, like, the people here, like, in 5 years, they'll be like, holy shit, like, I knew that, dude. I think, like, that's the moment.
And that's the thing. Is that they're gonna like, in 5 years.
I knew Geummy. She doesn't hit me up anymore.
So like that's what I say to everyone right now. Like in Web3, it's so easy to build friendships with people that in the future they're going to be crazy huge, making these huge companies in Web3 that are going to change the industry and going to be bigger than some of these Web2 companies. And right now, you can literally start friendships and build with these people.
I mean, literally, Chris and I met on a street on Rodeo Drive, and he was wearing a Bored Ape hoodie. I was wearing Chanel, and we were just like both looking at each other like, wait, what? Like Web3, and literally like next thing you know.
There's hope.
There is hope.
Next thing you know, next thing you know, we're like creating a podcast. We're interviewing with Matt Medved in New York, and we're like traveling back and forth, just interviewing people and legends in the space like you, and really just, sharing the information, because there's going to be somebody out there that's like, oh wait, like, they could relate with our backgrounds and say, if they can do it, I can do it.
I think what I love what you guys are doing is there's such a big opportunity for content, for sharing stories, for education, and like the opportunity people have to zoom out is not the bubble that we're in today of 50,000, 100,000 people. It's when the billions of people come in, and that's gonna happen in the next 3 years. We'll go from 100,000 people to 1 billion people, and that's gonna be done through content and gamification. So you play in that space and you keep building, good things are gonna happen.
And the cool thing about it is when that happens, everyone that's doing it right now are going to be grandfathered in. They're going to be the OGs. And so therefore no one can replace any of us.
No, anybody can be replaced.
No, I'm saying you look at OG YouTubers, the people that were first on the platform. Those are the ones that made it YouTube. Those are the ones that said I in 2010, whenever YouTube came out, YouTube was not huge.
Right.
It was not huge. So the people that were on that platform and making the movement, this is the same exact thing. Is that no one could take those people's that placement away, because those are the ones that made YouTube today.
It's basically like buying real estate in Malibu in 1960. Like you're buying real estate early, and you're in a place is going to be Malibu. It's not Malibu yet, but if you build your real estate and you work hard, like I think good things will happen. And it's not like I think because I'm a WAGME guy. No, just look back through history at these moments. 08, 2000, 86, all these things. Nothing new happens. People stay the same. The technology just changes. I'm out.